Hello, my name is Patrick Barnard. I'm with a citizens group here in Westmount, Quebec called Save the Parc, Sauvons le Parc. We've been fighting to save our beautiful grass fields here and to stop synthetic turf being installed in this historic park. People have been asking us, how do we get information from some of the people you interviewed? So we've made a couple of little short films. This is the first of them. It's with Professor Bill Crain of the City University of New York. He's one of the few people in North America that's really testing what's in those synthetic fields that your kids might be playing on. And so, Save the Parc, Sauvons le Parc is proud to present Bill Crain Speaks about synthetic turf.
Hello?
Hello, Bill. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Can you give us a synthesis of what you and Dr. Zhang have found out so far?
Yeah. In many fields in New York City, in the rubber granules that we picked up, we found that there are polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons at levels such that if they were found in toxic dump sites, the state regulatory agency in New York would demand that they are removed. So these are harmful levels, and the polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or PAHs for short, the ones we found are known to be carcinogenic, probably to humans. One is a known carcinogen to humans. And so this is dangerous and a cause for concern. What we don't know yet is if they can be absorbed by the body. All we know is that they're present in the rubber granules, the small rubber granules in the turf. And I think that the lead probably does get out. Any lead is problematic because any lead at all is bad for children. It causes neurocognitive problems with children, lowering in their IQ and other cognitive problems. Some of the chemicals in the tires leach out very easily into water, and so they also pose a hazard. We don't know how it will happen in natural conditions, but that poses a problem. We know there's a huge amount of zinc consistently in the rubber granules, just enormous amounts of zinc, and it's very toxic to wildlife. The danger to wildlife is very great if it's at all getting into the water. And as these granules decompose, it's more and more likely that they will get into the water, and the zinc won't decompose. It'll just move into the water.
Those of us in North America who want to keep grass and are very worried about synthetic turf form a kind of emerging community, both private and public. One of the things that happened here out of the blue was that in April 2007, the Public Advocate's Office of New York contacted Save the Parc, Sauvons le Parc. They wanted us to help them get testing of synthetic fields and also support a moratorium for the installation of synthetic fields in New York City. For immediate release, April 15, 2007, Betsy Gottbaum, Public Advocate for the City of New York. Public Advocate Gottbaum calls for independent testing of pellets used in city parks. Health risks to New Yorkers playing on synthetic turf remains unknown. Manhattan. Public Advocate Betsy Gottbaum today called for immediate independent testing of rubber pellets that may pose serious health risks to New Yorkers. The rubber pellets used to fill in synthetic turf in more than 70 athletic fields throughout the city are made from recycled rubber tires that contain high levels of cancer-causing chemicals. The health risks to families and kids playing on the turf remain unknown. Public Advocate Gottbaum was joined by City University of New York Professor William Crain and representatives from New York Lawyers for the Public Interest to call on the Parks Department to allow an independent study of the health impacts of the pellets before the city expands their use to additional fields.
And so there's a lot of research to be done, and I think until we know these, as I say, until we get a much better picture of the results, should be very cautious and follow the precautionary principle and not keep installing these, throwing these down. The research should have been done before they were ever installed fields anywhere. That's the right, sensible, and responsible way to do things, is do the research first, make sure it's safe, and then throw the materials down for where children play. Instead, we've done it just backwards across this continent and in Europe too. We've installed all the fields, and now we're doing research once the fields are already there. And it's just a very irresponsible way to go about things.
Are we using our own children to test these fields for us?
It would seem so. I think it's just more a matter of carelessness and irresponsibility, and the fact that the industries dominate policy. So the tire industry didn't know what to do with all these waste tires. So, we got an idea, put them out there on playgrounds, recycle them, they call it. This is not recycling in any healthy sense. It's just a reckless way to go about things, and it's really scandalous.
Last summer in 2007, Professor Crain was negotiating with New York City, and one of the key people was the New York City Parks Commissioner, Mr. Adrian Benepi. Well, believe it or not, the New York City Parks system, which has more than 70 synthetic fields, wouldn't go for this idea of testing their fields. And in fact, I got a letter from Adrian Benepi on June 22nd, 2007.
He's been a tremendous proponent of synthetic turf. Years ago, in 2005, we began protesting because we wanted to, the groups in the Upper West Side, where I live, in Upper West Side Manhattan, because we wanted to preserve nature. Not until 2006 did I see those granules, early in 2006. But before that, I spent many years just trying to slow this down so we could preserve whatever nature still exists in our city. And we gathered a petition of 600 signatures in our neighborhood and took it down to the commissioner's office. And when we were out there in the office, in the outer office, we saw this. It was amazing, a shrine to, it looked like, that's the only word for it, is like a shrine to synthetic turf. It has samples of it and pictures of it and like floodlights shining up on the synthetic turf. In his statements, public statements, he talked about it as the wave of the future and the way to go, and it's going to solve all our problems. He's been quite an enthusiast for synthetic turf. I don't know if he's backing off now, but he was quite a promoter, acting as if he was talking for the industry. My whole professional life as a developmental psychologist, I've been deeply concerned about children's isolation from nature. They've been increasingly growing up in synthetic indoor worlds, where now it's reached the point where children spend, two national surveys have found that children spend an average of less than an hour per week. The 6 to 12-year-olds spend less than an hour per week in free outdoor play, and their contact with the natural world has become so minimal. And now we're insisting on putting synthetic, plastic surfaces on the grass, or taking out the grass and installing synthetic plastic surfaces there too, so that it's going to get down to zero. Children need contact with nature to develop their senses in natural settings. They much more patiently observe the world around them, the birds, insects, feel the breezes, look for rocks. So they can sit and watch small animals and the grass and flowers and plants and the sky for long periods of time.